Mhm. Well, we're going.
Mayor Dameron, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure you could hear us.
I didn't hear him.
No. I know. How you doing? Governor's going to Dawson today? He's gonna be in Dawson and Bremen. He'll be in Dawson. Makes sense.
All right, if I could have everyone's attention, please, I'm going to go ahead and call a July 11th meeting of the Pennyrile Area Development District to order. And if you would, please stand for those that can. And our Pledge of Allegiance today is going to be led by Mr. Lee Wilson, Lyon County Attorney, and our invocation then will be following that with Mr. Carter Hendricks, Executive Director of the Southwest Economic Development Group. Lee. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I want to thank all of you for joining us today, both in person and virtually. As you can see from the screen, we've got several online. Our first item of business, I'm going to turn over to Judge Steve Tribble to bring a nominating report, I believe. Is that right, Judge? All right.
November. If I'm successful, maybe I could do it 4 more years for you guys. All right, our nominating committee met by phone on July the 6th. And that's nominating committee, of course, is Mayor Yance, and then Bart Frazier is a member of that committee. And, you know, we gave a nominating committee report at our annual dinner, but now we have some more changes coming up. So we're moving some people along in the ranks. So we talked about it, and we voted unanimously for the following individuals to serve as officers for a 2-year term beginning July the 1st of this year. Of course, this will be retroactive to July the 1st. So we're nominating Judge Hollis Alexander from Trick County to become chairman, although it'll be a hard act to follow with our Crittenden County judge. But we've got vice chairman. We've got Mayor Jan Yance from the city of Greenville. Secretary, we have Miss Chrissy Carter from Livingston County, and then treasurer would be Judge Todd Mansfield from Todd County, is who we're recommending or nominating. Are there any nominations from the floor that would be any different from what I just presented? I don't see any. So if not, Mr. Chairman, I would make this report in the form of a motion and ask the full board to take action at this time.
All right, hearing the nominating committee's recommendations as a motion, do I have a second? Second by Judge Gruber. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. All right, none. Judge Alexander, I think you are now to come forward, sir.
Actually, if all 4 of you
Yeah,
all would come forward, if you're all in the room, as a nominating committee chair, I would administer the oath of office to you all officially, to officially install you guys at this time. Is everybody here? Here they come. Yeah, all right. Y'all would all raise your right hand, and I'll give you this oath at this time. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the offices of chairman, vice chairman, secretary, and treasurer of the Pennyrile Area Development District according to law? And do you further solemnly swear that since the adoption of this present Constitution, you, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state, nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God. You all right, then congratulations to each of you. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you, Judge Tribble. Thank you, Board. At this time, the first item of business is call Judge Newcomb back up here. And there's absolutely no way I can fill his shoes. He's a lot smarter and a lot better looking than me, no doubt. But at this time, we want to present him with a plaque. This one doesn't have your name on it yet. It's on back. But thank you for your service and your leadership, Judge. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yes, sir. I want you to say whatever.
I just want to say thank you to all the board members, to the staff, to Jason, for allowing me this honor to have been chairman of the PAD over the last couple of years. Seems like it went by really fast. With COVID, we pretty well missed an entire year. And then seems like due to a lot of things going on in our family, I told Hollis earlier, I said, I knew with him not running for reelection, he was only going to have a few months to serve as a chairman for PAD. So I tried to miss as much as possible so he could get nearly a year's time as chairing these meetings. So, and with respect to filling my shoes, that's only because I wear a size 13, Hollis. You're going to do great, and it'll all be good. So appreciate it. Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you again, Judge Newcomb. And Judge Tribble, the only reason you're head of that nominating committee, you were here when that nominating committee was formed, I'm sure. And a good one. That was kind, Carter. Thank you for those words. And we have one rule while I'm chairman, and that's no heckling from the crowd, Wade White. That goes directly at you. And the only thing I can say about a challenge for a duel of deadly weapon, I did overhear Wade send a challenge one time. That doesn't affect me, does it, Judge Tribble? All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. You all have a copy of those in your folder. Is anything you need to say about this?
Actually have two
Need to do separate?
from May and June.
Need separate? Yeah, we have two sets of minutes, one from May and one from June. We'll need two approvals on those. Got a motion? Here a second, Mayor Johns. Got a motion and second. Any comments? All in favor for the month of May? Aye. Opposed by like sign? Hear none, that motion carries. Now the month of June. Got a motion from Judge Whitfield, second by Judge Tribble. Any comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed by like sign? We hear none. Motion carries. Now we have approval of the financial report. Miss Chrissy Carter.
Good afternoon. The financial report in your packet. We be at 100% of the budget as of June 30th. We have currently expended 72.42% of the budgeted amount. And of course, there will still be some year-end adjustments and a process as we continue to close the books for the fiscal year.
You have heard the report. Any questions or anything that anybody needs addressed? Have a motion to approve that report? A motion, have a second? Second. All in favor saying aye? Aye. Opposed by like sign? We hear none. Now federal and state reports. We have Miss Morgan Alvey with Senator McConnell's office. Miss Morgan, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak. The Senate has just come off a 2-week recess. So Senator McConnell spent the past 2 weeks traveling around Kentucky, made one stop over here in West Kentucky, up in Paducah. He met with a group of river industry officials and went to a lunch at the Paducah Chamber. It's always great to have him over in West Kentucky. And then also, I guess this is the first report I've given since the May meeting, since the June one was the annual meeting. So I can't let I can't let it go without congratulating Wade White on his nomination by the president to the TVA board. Yeah. Senator McConnell was happy to recommend him to the president for that nomination, and look forward hopefully to his confirmation process moving along later this year. Just a reminder, if anyone ever has any competitive federal grants that they're applying for, we're always happy to write letters of support for those. I know I've heard from a few of you just over the last few weeks. So don't hesitate to reach out to me on that front. If there's anything else we can ever be of assistance with, just let me know. Thanks so much.
He has to go before the Senate, right?
Committee hearing and then a floor vote.
Chair of that committee.
Yeah. Yeah, he's already said no information at all. No, I'm not to give. Yeah.
We have some videos.
Okay. Yeah. I'll pass those along. Yeah.
Thank you, Morgan. We were threatening Wade earlier with going and heckling him from the crowd at his confirmation hearing, actually. And Jason Hazard is not here, but we do have Mr. Corey Elder with Congressman Comer's office. I think he's virtual or by Zoom. Corey, we'll turn it over to you. Are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
I think I see you. Can't hear you, Corey.
Can you hear me now? No?
Still
Hello?
don't have you.
Can you hear me?
Chris, can you hear him?
Yes.
We're not hearing him here.
Yes, I can hear you.
Judge Alexander, can you hear me now?
Corey, we'll come back to you. We're having a little bit of
Okay.
technical difficulties on our end here. Go, okay. Go, Bart. Oh, we won't be able to hear either one of them. Okay, I got you. All right, we'll go into our normal reports, community and economic development. Amy Frogue, turn it over to you, Miss Amy. Oh, we won't be able to hear either one of them. Okay, I got you. All right, we'll go into our normal reports, community and economic development. Amy Frogue, turn it over to you, Miss Amy. Oh, we won't be able to hear either one of them. Okay, I got you. All right, we'll go into our normal reports, community and economic development.
Well, I'm looking for the PowerPoint pointer thing. too.
I haven't stolen anything.
Did you steal
Amy. I
it?
haven't stolen anything. Did you take it with you? Where is that?
I can run through this real quick now. Good afternoon, everyone. As Alicia told us this morning, Happy New Year. As we begin the new fiscal year this month, we always like to take a few minutes of your time to let you all know what we plan on working on in the upcoming fiscal year and what we're currently working on and how we will continue to provide services to you all. Tim, are you going to get that? Maybe. Just go ahead to the first slide, Tim, if you don't care. Go ahead to the next one. All right. In the Community and Economic Development Department, we do provide assistance for numerous programs that help spur economic development in our 9-county region. The Economic Development Administration provides an annual grant program for public projects that generate job creation or retention. Currently, we do have 2 projects that are open with EDA and then 1 application in the application phase that we'll be continuing to work on in the upcoming year. Excuse me. With the Delta Regional Authority program, you all heard a couple of months ago us talk about this program. This is also an annual yearly grant funding allocation for the Mississippi Delta region, which includes all of the counties in the Pennyrile region. This program is designed for projects that include public infrastructure, business development, and workforce development activities. We do currently have 8 open projects with Delta Regional Authority, and we had 10 applications, which I think may be a record year for DRA applications, 10 applications that were submitted under the 2022 funding cycle that ended just this past month in June. Under the Community and Economic or the Community Development Block Grant Program, we do continue to work with local governments as you all have business and industry prospects that want to locate or expand in the region on job creation components there. We do currently have 1 application for the city of Elkton in the pipeline with the Department for Local Government under the Economic Development Program. If you all will recall, during this last legislative session, the legislature allocated $100 million under the Product Development Initiative Program for economic development projects throughout the state. We will be assisting our communities with those applications as we look to develop our industrial parks and industrial land to get them more marketable for those prospects looking at our region in the upcoming year. We do continue to operate our revolving loan fund program. These are funds that originated from the Economic Development Administration and USDA Rural Development for businesses or industries that are looking to, again, locate or expand within our region. We can loan up to $250,000 to those entities for any equipment purchases, land or building projects, and other capital projects that they might need financing assistance on. And then we continue to update annually our community economic development strategies, or what we refer to as our CEDS document. This is the local planning process designed to guide economic development activities and growth in the region. We are required to update this annually, but 2022 is our 5-year rewrite process. Angela Herndon, whom you all have met, is our regional planner, and she is in the beginning stages of that rewrite for this year. She's also been talking with a lot of you all one-on-one about updating those goals and the projects that are included in that plan as required by EDA for their funding sources. We're also looking at revising the format of that document to bring it down from a 200-page document to something that's a little more digestible and easy to read, because no one wants to sit down and read a document of that size. Next slide, Tim. Under community development, again, we continue to work with our local governments for community development projects such as water and sewer infrastructure, housing, again, economic development, and then other community projects. Under the Community Development Block Grant Program, we do currently have 5 open community projects that we're working on. And then we have 3 applications that are in the pipeline for this 2022 funding cycle. We also have another 3 projects in the development phase, whether that be surveying for low income information or things of that nature. But we would like to increase this number. So if you all have projects or ideas for community development projects, please let us know how we can assist you in getting those into fruition. We also help you all with recreational and recycling programs, again, which are annual funding opportunities for projects to improve outdoor recreational opportunities. This includes playgrounds, walking trails, ATV trails, and sports fields. On the recycling front, these are programs to help you all build up your recycling programs. We can purchase things such as recycling equipment, as well as trailers, collection devices for recycling programs. Both of those opportunities open in the December, January timeframe and will run through the spring. Next slide. Under public safety grants, again, we assist you all with annual grant programs that benefit first responder and emergency response organizations. These include Homeland Security grants, the 911 Services Board grant, what was previously referred to as our CMRS grant, Law Enforcement Protection Program, which is equipment for law enforcement agencies ammunition, bulletproof vests, things of that nature. I see Miss Jamie shaking her head. She's very familiar with that grant. The Assistance of Firefighters Grant to help your volunteer fire departments purchase vehicles and equipment for their needs. And then the Department of Justice or COPS grant. So we do a lot of assistance with the hiring programs for school resource officers and things of that nature. Under hazard mitigation planning and grant programs, we are currently finalizing the draft of our 5-year plan update. We are in the process of conducting city and county meetings to update the projects that are included in that plan. Again, this is a plan that is required by FEMA for you all to be eligible for disaster funding should a disaster have occurred, just like the tornadoes that we had this past year. We did help communities submit several projects under that round of hazard mitigation grant program funding. We have some projects that have been selected to move on to the full application phase that we're assisting with. We've got a generator project for multiple generators over in Caldwell County. We're assisting the Christian County Emergency Manager with some tornado shelter projects here in Christian County. And then we've got a flood property acquisition project that we're assisting with over in the city of Elkton. Next slide. Some additional programs that have come about over the last couple of years as a result of COVID. The money seems to be flowing better than ever as a result of COVID. But under the American Rescue Plan and then the bipartisan infrastructure law funding, we have been assisting our communities in their ARPA allocations in getting those funds expended properly in that reporting and all of the strings that are attached to that funding. We have also been working on several broadband projects throughout the region with that ARPA funding, and we'll continue to seek out additional funding under the bipartisan law to get those projects completed within our region. We've been working with the bipartisan infrastructure law programs that are being released through the Department of Transportation. They seem to be on the forefront of getting the application cycles released through that bill funding, and we've been keeping abreast on those. And then we'll be keeping an eye out for additional water and sewer funding that will be coming through that infrastructure law as well. The House Bill 320 broadband funding. As many of you all know, that Pennyrile Rural Electric just had an announcement in the last couple of weeks for $14 million under that funding that was allocated last year to expand some broadband within our region. I think there's going to be a bigger announcement this afternoon, hopefully up in Dawson. But there will be a second round of funding for broadband projects through that as well. And I know Judge Newcomb, I think you attended some hearings maybe last week, talking with Kenergy and some other folks about that. So we hope to get some of those additional funds down this way to continue to expand broadband. Community Development Block Grant Utility Assistance. As you all recall, we submitted 12 applications under this program. We currently have 8 that are up and running and accepting applications through PACS. And surprisingly, that money is going very quickly, much to our surprise. So we do still have residents that are being affected by COVID and that are taking advantage of that opportunity. We are looking at some high-level regional planning applications for the entire region under the Brownfield program to identify some sites throughout the region that may be eligible for Brownfield funding. And then we're also looking at the Safe Streets planning effort, doing a region-wide project to get the planning studies done that are required for some of that bipartisan infrastructure law funding that's available through the Department of Transportation. We are continuing to contract with the University of Kentucky to partner with them on the radon study here in Christian County. Again, this is a project where we have citizen scientists measuring radon levels in their homes, but we've just currently started the marketing of a library loan program. So the UK has purchased additional units and they are housed at the Hopkinsville Christian County Public Library. And citizens can check those out like they would a book, check those units out to monitor the radon levels in their homes. And we continue to participate and support the efforts of both the Hopkins and the Muhlenberg County tornado recovery efforts. We have been involved with the long-term recovery groups. We've helped both of those groups obtain some United Way funding and are helping with those reports. And we are serving on the Dawson Springs Economic Recovery Group that is tasked with developing a path forward for that community over in Dawson. We do anticipate that there will be several grant funding applications that come out of that group as well for projects. Next slide. Under infrastructure planning and development, we do continue to maintain the activities of the water management and transportation committees as required by our contracts with KIA and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. These two groups are responsible for identifying and ranking water, sewer, and transportation infrastructure projects for the region as a whole. And then we also assist in the identification of funding sources for those projects. The transportation rankings are utilized in the state road plan and for funding prioritization. And John Murray, as many have mentioned, will be greatly missed in that process as he spearheaded that for a number of years for us. We provide project administration services for infrastructure projects such as the Transportation Alternatives Program and then KIA grants and loan programs. This year, we submitted 16 water and 19 sewer projects to KIA for a total funding of just under $190 million. So that's quite the request and shows quite the need that we have here in the region for water and sewer infrastructure. We are working with the Cleaner Water Program infrastructure funds. We assisted our counties last year in prioritizing and submitting those projects and getting those submitted to the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority. We are currently assisting in getting those assistance agreements together to get those projects moving forward. I believe Jason sent out an email late last week about this year's funding allocations. We will again be assisting you all in getting those projects identified for this new round of funding and getting those on the street as well. Collectively for the PAD region, we have about $13 million of that coming our way. So that's takes a little bit of that $190 million chunk out, but we're still a long way from getting our needs met there. On the community development block grant side, we currently have 3 open CDBG infrastructure projects and then 1 as well as several others in the project development phase and are on the horizon for CDBG funding. Next slide. In our GIS department, we do continue to contract with the Transportation Cabinet to update our roads center lines for the region's highway system and build an inventory of sidewalks for the region. We continue to contract with the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority to maintain their inventory for water and sewer systems. We provide assistance to our 911 centers with mapping and addressing of structure points. And then we've also been assisting some counties with what they call the NG 911, next generation 911 requirements that are coming down for those entities as well. We do assist with the development of county road plans upon request. Comprehensive planning, we do continue to provide services for the development or update of comprehensive plans, as well as zoning maps and ordinances that are used as planning tools for future development. And then we also provide other maps and computer network services upon request. So the overall mission of our department is to assist you all in developing and carrying out your community and economic development project needs to make our region a better place to live, work, and play. Our staff is currently working on over 235 open projects and applications on your behalf. And as you will hear in the upcoming budget presentation, the department has an operating budget of just over 1.1 million with 5 full-time staff. We do currently have 3 positions open. So please send, if you have applicants that are looking for jobs, please send them our way. But we have 5 full-time staff and 2 contract staff that are working on those projects. And those projects, those 235 projects total over $80 million of funds that are coming into our region on your behalf. Do you have any questions? Like drinking through a fire hose? Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah, I wasn't gonna steal your ink pen either. All right, next we have our report on area agency and aging and independent living by Miss Jill Collins.
Good afternoon. And like Amy, I'm going to talk about our work plan for the upcoming fiscal year of 2023. And so Tim, I may need you to advance those slides, please. If we can go on to the next one. So in Kentucky, all the area development districts are the designated area agency in an independent living. And so we create a plan for the development and which meet the needs of older adults, disabled individuals in our communities. I think that's better. We also provide information and advocate for available services, programs, policies that impact seniors and those with disabilities within our service area. And then we coordinate Older Americans Act, state general funds, and other grant funds which support the service delivery system in our area. Next slide, please. So in the Pennyrile, you can see a list of our services, and I'm not necessarily going to touch base on all of these, but we have a very broad reach within our community. We have the Title III Older Americans Act services. We administer and fund the services that come from your senior centers and those support services. We administer and fund the senior nutrition program, health promotion and disease prevention, our state home care program. And if you move on down the list, you can see an array of other services that are offered as well. Our specialty contracts include the Functional Assessment Service Team grants. We are the administrator of the MIPA program, which provides assistance to Medicare recipients on Part D premiums. We're also the administrator of the Veterans Directed Home and Community-Based Services program. And most recently, we're very proud that we were selected by the Department for Aging and Independent Living this year to participate in a new pilot called Bridging the Gap. This pilot is geared to serve families who are in the process of applying for the Medicaid waiver program, which takes some time. And during that process, they can qualify to receive temporary services through Bridging the Gap pilot while they're waiting on that Medicaid application to be approved. The main requirement for that is that the care recipient must have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or another related dementia. And I will say that Pennyrile is the first in the state to enroll a participant in the pilot program. So hopefully in the next couple of months, we can provide additional updates on that. We are the administrator of the Veterans Directed Home and Community-Based Waiver Program. We are a hub and spoke model, and we cover Kentucky and Tennessee. And you can see the list of our partner agencies listed there. Community involvement is very important for the Area Agency on Aging. And so you can see a list of the different activities that we take place in the annual Pennyrile Senior Games. We have the Elder Abuse Councils, the Mental Health and Aging Coalition. We have Alzheimer's support groups, which are now operated on a hybrid model to where we can include virtual participation. We also have the grandparent support groups and then another variety of outreach and community events. We are a member of the U.S. Aging, which is our national network, and the Southeastern Association of Area Agencies on Aging, where we also have staff participation on both of those boards. We have subcontracted providers that are listed here. We subcontract with Pennyrile Allied Community Services for our Title III, home care, our Title V, and our SHIP program. We also subcontract with Kentucky Legal Aid to offer our legal assistance programs through our Title III Older Americans Act funding. You can see our Title III service projections listed here. I do want to point out one that is new this year that we haven't done before, and it's listed at the bottom, and that is assisted living. Our long-term care ombudsman program has always gone into skilled facilities and our personal care facilities. But beginning this year in fiscal year 2023, our long-term care ombudsman will also begin going into assisted living facilities and investigating concerns on behalf of those residents. In our area, we currently have 7 assisted living facilities. On this slide, you can see our service projections for our home care program. Those services include homemaker, personal care, home delivered meals, assessment, and case management. Our other program projections include our participant-directed services program under our Medicaid waiver, their traditional model under our Medicaid waiver, our National Family Caregiver Program, our Title V program, and our Veterans Program. And I will mention that all of these numbers here, I say they change weekly, but they can change on a daily basis depending on the number of referrals that we receive through our Aging and Disability Resource Center. You can see our staff listed here. We have 15 full-time staff, 4 part-time, and 5 personal service contracts. Those staff include both program and finance staff. Just to give you a little information on our area, we're currently providing services to over 12,000 individuals. Our current budget, which will be discussed a little later, is $12.8 million. And we do continue to have a waiting list for services, which is in your packet, and that is broken down by county. And if you have any questions on that, then we'll be happy to answer those. I do want to mention that we are expecting additional allocation that is not listed in our budget today. The Department for Aging and Independent Living has received just over $14 million in additional funds that will be allocated out to the area development districts for the meal program and our nutrition program. And so we do know that that budget will change and that will increase. Demographic trends, we're an aging nation. I think we all know that. I think that's well documented in our wait list and unfunded need in our area. I do want to point out that in the Pennyrile, our 60 and over population as of April of 2022 was 51,232 individuals. So that is a large number of older adults in our area that could have the need or be eligible for services in our area. And so the purpose of the Area Agency on Aging is to assess community need and develop and fund programs. We educate and provide direct assistance, and we serve as a portal of care. And most importantly, we want to make sure that we're doing the best we can with the allocations we receive to serve as many consumers as possible with the services available through our agency. So that completes our work plan. The next piece of information I want to bring to your attention is in your packet. And this is a summary sheet. We have received a request from Pennyrile Allied Community Services, which is our service provider for Title III home care. And they have requested a unit cost increase for services for fiscal year 23. The executive committee of the Pennyrile Area Development Board of Directors has met, as well as the executive committee of the Advisory Council on Aging. And the recommendation today is to propose the unit cost increase that is listed in your packet on a temporary 3-month basis. We know that there are some additional allocations coming our way specifically for the meal program. And this will be revisited again in September. And so, Chairman, I will need a motion on this unit cost proposal.
Have any questions about this unit cost proposal? We will need a motion for an increase. Motion by Mayor Yance, second. All in favor of saying aye? Aye. Opposed by like sign? Hear none. Thank you.
Okay, Okay, thank you. And as I mentioned, this will be on a temporary 3-month basis. And when I speak with you all toward the end of September, first part of October, we will revisit this and see what our allocations look like at that point. So thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Appreciate you. At this time, we have Workforce Development, Ms. Sheila Clark. Sheila?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted first to talk about the important thing, and that is our interagency agreement that we're working with the judges on, and also the consortium meeting that we were able to have. Thank you to all the judges who rearranged their schedule and tried to help us, or saying if I can't come this day, I can be there tomorrow. And because of your help, we were able to have a quorum and start getting those resolutions for that interlocal agreement to be passed by your fiscal courts. And some of them we already have back. Thank you, Judge Mansfield. And we have others on the list. I think Judge White, I know Judge Tribble and several others are starting to write me. I know Judge Alexander, I think you're moving in that direction too, to try to get it on the list and get that back. And we don't do that often, but because of COVID, it pushed us out some. So we're trying to get that done. And then also today, I actually have a copy of the interlocal agreement where as a judge, you can sign. And then as it goes through your fiscal court, then we will date it, whatever that date was that your resolution went through. Because to get it around to 17, it might be in one end of West Kentucky when you're passing it in your courtroom. But we did want to thank you so much for your help on that. And we have an annual event and that meeting and talking to you a little about workforce. I'll start now and looking at just the overview of services. I'm aware of your time frame, so this will be extremely brief. You'll see that these are the structures and the outlines that we have there. The Department of Labor oversees this federal law. It's 100% federal funds passed down through the state or either direct grants that we may acquire from the Department of Labor. You'll see there is a state board, the Kentucky Workforce and Innovation Board. And we have our local board and committee support, and then our career centers that we have oversight with. And then we look at our business services in addition to the individual services. Tim, next slide, please. And looking at the services to individuals and businesses, everybody thinks about adults, and you've learned that we do dislocated workers. But maybe you hear us talking about on-the-job training, and you'll see that that's important because the average wage of those hourly rates are $17, not counting benefits. Then we have the Right Choice Program, which is a second chance employer. We have work-based learning, on-the-job training, all of those things that you think about where they're placed, individuals are placed in the business trying to learn firsthand the activities of those businesses. And then our business service team, that's the Molly, the Tom, the Mary Ann's. They're the ones that respond to the needs of that business as the first face they see. And then, of course, Karen is the Right Choice, the second chance program that you see up there. Next slide. We have funded 4 youth programs that are currently operating, and they're reaching out, trying to bring people into their programs. One of the main things we have there is a work experience where the youth are paid a comparable wage to other individuals that are working in that business or in that agency. And we look for good work sites there. And we have that as paid by the workforce board, not the nonprofit or the business site itself paying it. Next slide. The Fort Campbell Strong emphasis here with Derek Ford being at Fort Campbell. He is coordinating with the Tennessee boards as well as with the transition programs that are contracted there on base at Fort Campbell with the Department of Defense. We have weekly job fairs there, 2 days a week. He's reaching out to requests from your community and trying to make some connections there. And if you haven't spoken to him about something that you'd like to occur in your community, then please do, and we'll try to help you with that. Next slide, Tim. Everybody's aware of our tornado assistance. We have that as a temporary site that is in Mayville, as well as all of our other career center sites can provide services to those individuals that were impacted by the tornado. It's an interruption in work or the loss of a job because of the tornado in one of the impacted counties, and those individuals can be brought into the program. Next slide, Tim. We're finishing up our COVID National Dislocated Worker Grant that came out at the beginning of COVID, and with the state of Kentucky had about $500,000 of that, and we are finishing our last person that will come out that program at the end of September. And we've had a lot of activity under it and has been very successful with that outcome. Tim, next slide. Our Career Center activities are not back to normal, but they're about 90% back to normal. There are 12 comprehensive sites in the state of Kentucky. We have 2 of those comprehensive sites here, one in Paducah and one in Hopkinsville. And then we have affiliate sites that we work through as we have staff available for that. And of course, we rely upon our direct service provider to help man that. Next slide, Tim. We have 6 locations, and you'll see over that 25 plus staff. That's all the program staff as well as the direct service staff that's reaching out. Our job is dictated by what happens in your community. If you have a new industry come, then that makes us a new job. If you have an industry that goes away, then that makes us a new job there to try to get services to help those individuals. And if we have unknown disasters, as the tornado, then we seek service dollars to help those individuals. So our plan is responding to your needs and what you bring to our attention that you feel like you need in your communities to grow. I'll be happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sheila. Appreciate that. At this time, we have administration, Ms. Alicia Sutton.
Good afternoon. The administration department has 8 full-time staff and 3 part-time staff. There is a list of supports that we provide. I think the administrative department takes great pride in having strong internal controls and segregation of duties to provide a clean audit for the agency. This past fiscal year, we have provided over $13 million of transactions for the agency. Tim, if you'll go to the next slide. We also provide fiscal agent services for some community agencies that are outside of the area development district, and those are listed on the screen there as well. The projects that we have ongoing for the administrative department is digital transformation. Last summer, we got a grant from the Kentucky Department of Library and Archives. We were able to digitize our audits from 1970s to the current. And we also digitized some other historical documents that are available on our network for all staff to view. We've also looked at workflow automations with hybrid work. Workflow automation was kind of important. So we have electronically automated our purchase order system and our accounts payable system. And we recently moved our leave request system to electronic as well. And we're currently working on transitioning our travel request to electronic processes. So with that workflow automation, that allowed us to have remote access to agency records. So if we are at home, if we are here in the office, we can have access to those records at any given time. We have assisted with the electronic visit verification for the Medicaid clients, as Jill mentioned in her presentation. We do have the participant directed services program that has transitioned to some, what they call EVV, and that is timesheets being electronic versus paper. So we have spent a lot of time and efforts in assisting the aging department with that project. The disaster relief efforts, due to the tornado in our region, we are currently assisting with utilizing some AARP funds and some donations that we have received from individuals. And we are actually purchasing items for families that were affected by the tornadoes. We are also assisting the Hopkins County Long-Term Recovery Group with their efforts with the tornado recovery. And I also want to mention that I am the chairman of the Kentucky Council of Ads and for the finance officer. So we kind of collaborate our efforts across the state, and I do chair that group. If you have any questions about the administrative department or our electronic processes or need suggestions for your agencies, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or any of my staff.
Thank you, Miss Alicia. They have a good director with that association, I can tell you that. At this time, we have new business, monthly code of ethics report, and there is nothing to report, thank goodness. And that next item on the agenda is to confirm a new board member. We had one that resigned from Caldwell County, Mr. David Williams, resigned due to a health issue, and Judge Larry Curlin has nominated Miss Amanda Davenport. Amanda, just raise your hand so everybody knows who you are. She's here with us today. So we need to take action on Miss Amanda. She is the director, excuse me, of the Lake Barkley Partnership. I about left that out. I'm sorry, Amanda. You have a motion to accept her on the board, Judge Tribble, and second by Lee. Any other comments? All in favor of saying aye? Aye. Opposed by like sign? We hear none. Welcome aboard, Ms. Davenport. At this time, we have the fiscal year 2023 budget. Ms. Chrissy Carter, we'll turn it back over to you.
All right. Now that you've heard the work plan from the management staff, it's time to review our revenue and expenditures for the upcoming fiscal year. In your board packet, you will find the proposed fiscal year 2023 budget. The first page shows our projected revenue by the source of funds, federal, state, and local, as well as the service budget. These are the funds that are passed through to others, and the operating budget, which is used to operate the district. The last sheet is the schedule of projected expenses for operations. The executive committee met and approved the fiscal year 2023 budget on June 20th. The executive committee also examined each line item with our management staff in much detail. And today I want to highlight some of the budget items for the upcoming year. Total revenues for fiscal year 23 is projected at $20.2 million. This is an increase of approximately $1.2 million from the prior year's budget of $19 million. Revenues have changed as follows. Area Agency on Aging and Independent Living total budget has decreased by approximately 2.7%. This decrease is due to the expiration of the vaccine grants and Preferred Community Health Partners grant. Training and Workforce Development total revenues have decreased by approximately 6.3% due to the expiration of funds for the Briggs and Stratton and the Fort Campbell Strong Workforce Partnership Grant. The Training and Workforce Development Funds normally experience additional changes at mid-year based on workforce and economic factors in the Pennyrile and Purchase regions. Community and Economic Development revenues are projected to decrease by 3.2% due to the expiration of the CARES revolving loan funds and the Economic Development CARES funds and the hazard mitigation funds that will occur during fiscal year 2023. In addition to the projects listed in our budget, many of our communities have been selected to receive funding this year, and our community economic development staff will be administering most of those projects on your behalf. As summary, total revenues are expected to be approximately $20.2 million. Operating revenues are expected to be approximately $4.8 million this coming year, while $15.4 million will be passed through to other entities and used to provide direct services. Are there any questions on the projected revenue? Okay. Under the expenditures, excuse me, the proposed operating budget shown on the last sheet is separated into personnel, travel, and operating expenses. Personnel expenses were increased to account for a 5% cost of living adjustment for the staff, and benefits were increased to account for a 10% increase in health insurance. Travel expenses for staff and the board have remained constant as travel is starting to resume. However, some meetings are still being held virtually. In-home client visits and regional meetings are returning to normal. Most of the operating expenses have remained constant. However, the ad direct program expenses were reduced by $222,500 due to the expiration of grants mentioned earlier. It is the agency's goal to bring expenditures in line with revenues, and currently the revenues exceeded expenditures by $151,582, which is a 3% of the operating revenue. The total expenditures for fiscal year 2023 are $20,100,918, which is an increase of $2,088,251 from the prior year. Are there any questions of the expenditures? Okay, if there are no further questions, I ask for a motion that we adopt the fiscal year 2023 budget.
It is in the form of a motion from the executive committee. I have a second from Garrett Gruber. Any questions? All in favor saying aye. Aye. Opposed by like sign. We hear none. At this time, it's time for the director's report. I want to tell you all something, and they're redoing Jason's door in there, but there is not a better ad director in the state of Kentucky. I get emails on Saturdays. I get emails on Sundays. He makes sure we're informed, and he's doing an excellent job. And I think we need to give him a little round of applause. Jason, appreciate
that.
I'm trying to make some brownie points early on.
Guess I'm gonna have to get my billfold out here and start to pay it up. No, thank you, Judge. I do appreciate that. As Amy already alluded to, you all have been drinking from a fire hose today, and I appreciate you all doing that. And I'm proud of everything that our agency has going on, and excited to see what this new fiscal year has in store for the Pennyrile ad. I do want to say congratulations to the officers that were sworn in today. I do look forward to working with each and every one of you in this new role. But due to that fact that we have changed officers, we need to make some adjustments to our bank accounts. And in your packet, or that was laying on top of your packet, you will find a resolution that simply adds Judge Alexander and Judge Mansfield to our accounts. And Mr. Chairman, unless there are any questions regarding that resolution, we will need to take board action on that.
Do I hear a motion? A motion right here. Second. There's a second, Mary Yance. All in favor of saying aye. Aye. Opposed by like sign. Hear none. Motion carries.
I also want to congratulate Mr. Verdell Smith for joining us today, new board member from Christian County. Verdell, congratulations for being here with us and being on the board. Next slide, please, Tim. I do want to spend just a couple of minutes updating everybody on the West Kentucky Wellness Mission that took place a couple of weeks ago here in Hopkinsville. And this was the Innovative Readiness Training, which was a partnership between the Department of Defense, the Delta Regional Authority, and the Pennyrile Area Development District. I know you all heard us talk about that on numerous occasions. If you could go to the next slide. I just wanted to quickly mention some of the numbers here in just a second, but I want to talk about the community partners. You'll see a list of those. Our organization was considered the lead partner. However, we could not have done it without these organizations and groups that you see listed there. I want to give a big shout out to the Christian County Public Schools, who allowed the use of their beautiful facility, and then also Heritage Christian Academy for use of their bus for transportation. Just in addition, we had a number of churches that provided lunches, and other organizations And I literally had dozens of the military folks that were here working come to me and just talk about how quickly they wanted to come back to our region and do this again. So we'll be working on another application in the very near future to do this again. Next slide. Just to give you indication of what some of those numbers look like. They were hoping between 3,000 and 4,000. You'll see here, they had nearly 5,300 services that were provided as part of that event. And they saved nearly $257,000, which is very impressive. Very impressive for that event. Anybody have any questions about that? All right. Well, Mr. Chairman, knowing the time, I'm going to end right there. Is there any questions for me regarding any of the things you've heard about today? Nothing? Well, always thank you all for your support. Thank you all for being here. And if there's anything we can ever do for you all, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Real quick before we adjourn, and I don't want to belabor this, but Judge Tribble, I look at you and I think about John Murray, and I can't stop and think about him. And I thought about him over the weekend. I don't know if you've seen the movie, Remember the Titans. Who's seen that movie? And you know, Gary Bertier was an All-American defensive end, and they asked Denzel Washington, the coach, what he was going to do. And he said, you can't replace a guy like Gary Bertier. You can't replace a guy like John Murray in transportation for this region and all of the area. And there's just been so much said already about him, and it doesn't help to keep belaboring it, but I thought I needed to say that. You can't replace a guy like that in transportation here, Jason, or you can't replace him either, Judge, as an advocate for you and your office in Christian County, that's for sure. So,
Mr. Chairman, I also want to say, you know, Judge Tribble did a wonderful job at the funeral on Saturday. And I was telling Carter before the meeting started, I had never been to a funeral where somebody was described so perfectly, not only by Judge Tribble and by the minister there at the Methodist Church, but Carter made a great point. It's because John was authentic.
he was authentic.
And you knew where he was. And they talked about his intellect. You know, he's probably the smartest person any of us knew. They talked about his love for the region and the state. And then more importantly, how he treated others and how he put everyone else first.
He's always putting everyone first. He's very genuine, no doubt about it. Real funny story, real quick, and I'll end with that on him. We were at the Capitol one time, and we were with a large group. Judge Tribble was in that group, and Jason Vincent, and we were a little bit ahead. And John says, "Let's go right here." And we went in a winding staircase, and I said, "Where are we going, John?" He said, "Just follow me. We'll beat them there." And we were standing at the leader's door, Mitch McConnell's door at the time before Judge Tribble and them got there. And I was just knowing we were going up these winding steps that John Murray was going to get me arrested by the Capitol Police before we could get out of there. But anyway, he will be missed. There's no doubt about it. And you can't replace a guy like John Murray. Any other business? Motion to adjourn. Got a motion to adjourn right here. Scott Marshall, second by Gary Groove. We stand adjourned. Thank you all for your time. You can't replace a guy like Gary Bertier.